Recording in progress.
Yeah. All right. Regular scheduled meeting, the Hill County Commissioners Court. It's the 9th day of June, 8:30 a.m. Hill County Courtroom. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum present. Let's go ahead and start with a prayer and. Heavenly Father, Lord, we come to you today humbly, Lord, looking for your guidance on the county's matters, issues, Lord. We pray for wisdom, Lord. We pray for discernment in the decisions made at this table today, Lord. Lord, we love you and praise you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor protect this flag, pledge allegiance to the text, one state, under God, one indivisible.
All right, Commissioner, how are you today?
Well, I'm good. We're playing catch up from storm getting through this weekend. We had 3 trees down on one road blocking traffic at 11:30. And Sunday night, we went out and cleared those. And yesterday we did a little work on some tractors. We got one that's we're trying to get back in service, one that had a hydraulic leak. Just waiting for the water to drain, and this morning we're back on 1256, which is a train wreck after the rain, 1450 south and 1415. We got our hands full trying to play catch up. Got a lot of rain on the northern end of the county, 6+ inches. I don't know what you guys got down here, but it was a bunch. That's what we're doing.
Awesome. Commissioner?
We're doing the same thing. We're co-patching 1330, 1313, trying to repair it, and then still hauling rock. We got a brush cutter going. And it was also published this week that I was stepping down. I mean, I'm not stepping down. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. Thank you.
Sir.
Good.
Commissioner?
Well, pretty much the same thing. We're working on 3363 between Malcolm and Hubbard, known as the old highway. It got in pretty bad shape after this last rain. Got a brush cutter running, and we're starting a bridge on 3107 today. It'll be an in-kind bridge that'll match funds for 2 state bridges that we've got coming up, and hopefully in the next year.
Awesome. Commissioner?
We've been running 2 boom shredders and 2 shoulders, but today we're getting trees that fell down for some reason yesterday. I have no idea. There wasn't that much wind yesterday, but I guess it was today.
Philip? Okay.
Judge, we got a pretty big project over at the codes in the next server room. We're gonna more or less take everything apart and rebuild it and put it back together. It needs to be cleaned up pretty bad, and so I'm looking forward to showing you guys some pictures of that once it's all said and done.
Awesome.
Additionally, I thought that the internet outage over at Huron, Commissioner Holk, I thought that was resolved. I got an outage resolved email, but that was a different outage. So we're still working on your situation up there. Other than that, we're just trying to make sure that all the computers are up to date, just making a push to, big patches rolled out and, make sure everything's secure.
Miss Lincoln, how are you? Doing operation. Doing well.
Well, I want to share that we ended our school year this year with 9 students in our JJP, which is a pretty high number. As you know, our limit is 10 students, and so we had a very successful end of the school year. This summer, we're working on community service projects with our juveniles, so you'll see that actively happening in the community. We're doing our doghouse project again this year, so we're actually doing that at the egg building, and that would donate 3 different doghouses to community. And so we're just staying busy. Unfortunately, we're staying busy, but we're staying busy and taking care of our kiddos.
Thank you, ma'am. Emergency management? Mr. Jackson?
Things going good, Judge. Busy over the weekend, we fired and wondering.
We are tracking the New World screwworm updates daily. at this point. Along with, Mr. Zach Davis from AgriLife. And I believe that we're gonna have a meeting before long with all those powers combined, to just try to keep abreast of the situation. This is one point where the I-35 corridor is not gonna be good to us, I don't believe, so. Mr. Duncan, how are you, sir? ESD, you doing well?
We've got, construction going on the helipad, that's been coming to the ground. Probably within the year, we're gonna be building an ambulance station at that location. Also, I have 10 AEDs, that we are providing to the county for county facilities, and if, you gave me a list of those.
Yes, sir.
So I'll be getting with you, maybe Chris, as how to get those dispersed.
Awesome, we sure appreciate it. Ms. Parker, treasurer, how are you?
Running on accounts payables, accounts receivables, payroll, elections, payroll. I want to take a moment and thank Wendy and Phillips department. She was able to come work on all of our computers with minimal downtime in my office, so I do appreciate that. And then I want to say thanks to Amy and Susan for being our second set of eyes on the insurance reconciliation. Other than that, just business as normal.
Awesome. Awesome.
Everything's going good pretty soon too, just trying to keep up with the paper load and keep things rolling.
Ms. Peavy?
We're doing pretty good, everything's day to day normal. We're waiting on our audit to determine the final draft.
Mr. Hall? Morning. All right, well, we'll go ahead and move into open forum. This time we'll enter open forum. We'll have 5 minutes to speak. I've got a list here. Miss Donna Hunter.
Morning.
Good morning.
Just wanted to mention before I get started, my county road actually stayed together this time after the rain, like 4 inches, and it didn't blow away. So I'm very grateful for our precinct commissioner getting the road fixed on. Just before it just fell off, half of it fell off. So
Amazing.
it is amazing. I mean, I've been there for 30 years. And this is the best it's ever been. So thank you. Okay, this morning I wanted to speak about abatements, and I'm here today to ask you not to allow the abatements of any kind to the data centers in Hill County. We all know that precinct 1 and 2 commissioners, Judge Braswell and the Hill County were threatened with $100 million lawsuits. If data centers can afford to threaten us into submission with this kind of money and spend trillions to build battery storage units, power lines, and data centers to pillage Texas, as well as our nation's environments, farmlands, resources, and water supply, they don't need abatements. Using their research to justify their bills is comparable to putting the fox in charge of the chicken house. You do have the power to keep abatements at bay without being sued. Use it to protect us all, please. Show them strong Texas counties will stand together. Why are there so many data centers? Why is no one answering this question? What's behind this invasion all over our nation? If these data centers are purchasing land above and beyond the value, they should be taxed at the rate they paid for it every year instead of being given abatements and a pat on the back. Don't give them the abatements to allow them to pursue the takeover of the great state of Texas. Use a portion of their tax monies for independent lawyers and independent auditors to keep them in check. I urge you not to be complicit in their unknown agenda. Don't give them the ammo they need to destroy Texas. And thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, ma'am.
I got a Texas week that nearly half of the US data centers planned for 26 have been delayed or canceled. You heard anything of that?
No, sir. Jan Berman. Dan Berman, BARMEN. Janine Stadowski.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm gonna read this from my phone if that's okay. To the honorable members of Hill County Commissioners Court, I appreciate the time and effort that went into preparing the proclamation. However, after reading it carefully, I do not believe it adequately protects the future of Hill County. The draft repeatedly states that it does not create regulations beyond the county's existing legal authority. If that is the case, then residents deserve a clear explanation of what protections and proclamation actually provides. A statement of policy is not the same as an enforceable commitment, and acknowledging risks is not the same as preventing them. Throughout the draft, I see studies, reports, analysis, recommendations, coordination, and future planning. Those are useful tools, but they are not protections. A noise study is not a noise limit. A lighting analysis is not dark sky lighting standard. A traffic study is not a road protection agreement. A decommissioning plan is not a legally enforceable decommissioning obligation backed by financial security. An environmental review is not an environmental protection. Proclamation is not an enforceable agreement. The question I keep coming back to is simple. Where are the actual protections? I do not see enforceable noise limits. I do not see enforceable sky dark lighting standards. I do not see meaningful setbacks from homes, schools, churches, parks, farms, ranches, waterways, or sensitive wildlife habitat. I do not see protections for aquifer recharge areas, groundwater, springs, creeks, rivers, wetlands, or floodplains. I do not see a long-term groundwater monitoring requirements before, during, or after construction. I do not see meaningful protections against contamination from PFAS, commonly known as forever chemicals, or other persistent industrial contaminants that may be associated with firefighting foams, industrial cooling systems, electrical infrastructures, maintenance activities, or hazardous material storage. Once these substances enter groundwater, cleanup can be extraordinarily difficult, expensive, and sometimes impossible. Prevention must come before remediation. I do not see requirements for secondary contaminant or hazardous materials, spill prevention, spill reporting, or emergency cleanup plans. I do not see requirements for independent environmental monitoring paid by the developer. I do not see protections for threatened or endangered species, migratory birds, pollinators, native prairie, mature trees, wildlife corridors, or habitat fragmentation. I do not see meaningful protections against excessive water consumption during drought conditions, or assurance that existing agricultural, livestock, domestic, and mutual water users will be prioritized. I do not see enforceable protections addressing diesel generation emissions, air quality impacts, I can't even say it, cumulative matter, noise, and backup power systems, or cumulative environmental impacts from future expansion. I do not see requirements for wildfire prevention, planning, emergency response, coordination, or reimbursement for increased demands placed on volunteer fire departments, law enforcement, EMS, and other public services. I do not see financial assurance bonds sufficient to guarantee that taxpayers will never be responsible for repairing damaged roads, replacing bridges, remediating environmental contamination, decommissioning industrial facilities, or restoring sites after operations end. I do not see annual third-party compliance audits made available to the public. I do not see inspection rights, meaningful penalties for violations or clear remedies if developers fail to comply with the obligations.
Sadowski, your time is up.
I defer my, sorry, Kevin Wyland.
Go ahead, Ms. Johnson.
Instead, I see recommendations without corresponding enforcement. If developers seek tax abatements, road use agreements, development agreements, infrastructure agreements, subdivision approvals, utility agreements, or any other discretionary action by Hill County, then every protection within the county's legal authority should be incorporated into those agreements as legally enforceable conditions. Those agreements should include, at a minimum, binding noise limits for continuous monitoring and enforceable penalties, dark sky lighting standard that eliminate unnecessary light pollution and light trespass, protective setbacks from schools, churches, agricultural operations, waterways, parks and wildlife habitat, independent environmental review and ongoing compliance monitoring funded entirely by developer, baseline and continuing groundwater testing with the results available to the public, spill prevention, hazardous material management, and emergency response requirements, specific protections against PFAS and other persistent contaminants, including groundwater monitoring, reporting, remediation requirements, and financial assurance. Water use protections that prioritize existing domestic, agricultural, municipal, and livestock users during drought and water shortages. Developer funded improvements to roads, bridges, utilities, emergency services, and other public infrastructure impacted by the project. Financial assurance sufficient to cover road repairs, environmental remediation, PFAS cleanup if necessary, decommissioning and complete site registration, legally binding decommissioning requirements with periodic updates to enforce financial security remains adequate throughout the life of the project. Annual third-party compliance audits available for public review. Full public disclosure of water use, energy consumption, backup generator operation, emissions, hazardous materials, cooling systems, and future expansion plans, inspection rights, financial penalties, suspension of county incentives, and termination of county agreements for sufficient violations. The draft also to adequately address cumulative impacts. One project really remains one project. Large industrial developments often expand over time, creating additional demands on infrastructure, emergency service, groundwater, wildlife habitat, transportation systems, and taxpayers. Those cumulative impacts should be evaluated and addressed before approvals are granted, not after problems occur. If Texas law limits county's authority to impose certain protections directly, then I encourage the court to use every legal tool currently available and activate before the Texas legislature for additional authority where local governments lack the ability to adequately protect the communities. Hill County residents have repeatedly asked for enforceable protections that will remain in place long after construction is complete. Good intentions are appreciated, studies are appreciated, recommendations are appreciated, but none of those are legally binding. The citizens of Hill County deserve accountability, transparency, enforceable agreements, and long-term protections that safeguard our roads, bridges, groundwater, aquifers, wildlife, agricultural heritage, property owners, taxpayers, emergency service, rural character, and natural resources for generations to come. I respectfully ask the court to strengthen this proclamation, ensure that every protection within the county's authority is implemented through legally enforceable agreements whenever those opportunities exist. The future of Hill County depends on what we hope developers will do, but on what requires them to not, but on what we require them to do. If you recognize a risk, what legal mechanism are you using to address it? The proclamation identifies risk, but does not identify enforceable solutions. The draft recognizes numerous concerns associated with large-scale industrial development. However, it repeatedly states it creates no regulations beyond existing county authority. I'm gonna skip a whole list here of everything that's missing. I have quite the list.
Should also be your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's Olivia Hoffman.
Okay. Kind of a pit of my stomach. They're surveying the land next to my house. That's, you know, the next step. So they're one step closer. Fortunately, it doesn't sound like they've canceled that data center and some of the others. So that's a very real reality for my family right now. So the need to address the Chinese inverters and BESS are still one of the underlying concerns. I know that sounds just like it's green energy, but it does apply to data too. Here are 2 quick examples. Ash Creek Solar was developed by Primergy. Primergy has a history of sourcing its solar panels from Maxeon. Maxeon is based in Singapore. Primergy also has agreements with Cattle, also based out of China. Solve Energy was also the lead procurement partner for Ash Creek Solar. Solve, like many companies, uses tier 1 suppliers for these parts. SunGrow is just one company they've been known to use for projects of this size. SunGrow is based out of Hefei, China. Blue Skies BESS, which is not yet constructed in Hill County, is also being developed and owned by Primergy. Those are just 2 solar and BESS facilities in Hill County. We have a right to know as residents of this county if our lives and our children's lives would be in danger by the addition of more of these BESS and inverters. In talking to the experts, the information I have given to you is enough to take to the Attorney General's office. I'm kindly asking you all, whether it be together or individually, to do so. You don't need anything more than this information right here, along with the articles showing where they source their materials, which I can provide upon request. I also want to ask the court if you're at least willing to send the letter I previously gave you to these companies who have not yet begun construction. We already have so many unchecked facilities. It would be prudent to do our due diligence before more are welcomed into the county. I believe it's a quick and simple step to gain back some control of the situation. And just as a reminder, the NFPA 855 still applies because it has been adopted by the state of Texas. The county does not need to formally adopt that fire code in order for it to apply. It automatically applies. I talked to several others and they brought up the idea of an advisory committee. I understand that in the policy it references in the Hill County Development and Inspections Department. I'm curious to know if they are fully equipped and properly staffed and educated on all of these matters to handle them in the right way and with due diligence. If they are, fantastic. If not, a committee can help ease these burdens. The EPA is another place to look that could offer assistance to the county. I'm working on getting in contact with the Region 6 Lithium Battery Ion Coordinator. I haven't had the time to really dig in, but from what I gather, the EPA will even offer assistance and training to fire departments, emergency committees, and local officials in order to properly handle a fire or hazmat disaster in any facility containing BESS. Fires can flare up days later, air quality has to be monitored, perimeters have to be set up depending on the size of the facility, amongst many other things. Things I think we are all aware of by now our county is not prepared or equipped to handle. It's imperative that you as a court do all you can to set up the men and women for success who are willing to put their lives on the line and die for you and the citizens of Hill County. I would also like to request the topic of hiring a fire marshal be placed on the next agenda. I understand there are a number of steps that must happen first, but we would just like to be updated on what step the county is currently on. If it will be months before we can get a fire marshal, I would like to ask again that you look into contracting with the Hillsborough Fire Marshal temporarily, or that we go ahead and ask the state fire marshal to come and inspect these facilities. I would like to ask whether or not there is any intention of applying this checklist and policy to the Nexus Data Center. I understand they have already begun construction, but you owe it to these people whose lives have already been and will be impacted and wrecked by this to ask for the information. Some people will be or probably already have been financially ruined by being unable to sell their properties, and now they face the decision of whether or not to declare bankruptcy by losing their homes. Or they could stay and face God only knows what kind of health risks. They're not guinea pigs and neither are their children. A great bargaining chip the county should look into is a buffer zone, but not on the data center's terms, on the residents' terms. A requirement to pay for certain homes and properties falling within a certain radius of these centers. I still don't like that idea and it feels like a concession, but if you're willing to put this into a legally binding order, this would give the county so much more leverage. It's not something I want, but it's a tool in an ever-growing toolkit that can support and defend the people of Hill County. Lastly, I would like to suggest the idea of a newsletter. I think at this point in time, it would be a good way to be able to address things that are not on the agenda, as well as shielding you guys from being asked the same question over and over. It doesn't have to be weekly, it can be bi-weekly or even monthly, just a short update from the judge and each commissioner on what's happening in their precinct. I understand this would be a courtesy to your constituents, but one that I think would go a long way in honoring your commitment to transparency. And on the data center construction, I would just like to add that my husband has been out to Abilene. He's spoken with their police department, and the crime has skyrocketed. The prostitution is up. They hire a lot of temporary workers who are usually felons. So I just also want to ask, what's Hill County's plan? Because we're right on 35 and there's a lot of prostitution along the freeway, so.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. Ms. Linda Polly?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Save Hill County and Texas Coalitions Against Data Centers. I think right now where we're at is everyone is just a little bit to the point that we're wondering which direction we're going in. Back in March, we had a meeting with you, Judge Brazel, and we expressed concerns about the Hubbard Data Center, the best storage unit that was on Jimmy Lehman's land, which is right off of 1946 between Bynum and Irene. And at this point, we really don't see that there's any investigation being done. We have no knowledge that Air Joel has been turned over to any type of federal or state authorities for their 50-50 connection with cattle, which is stated on their S10 SEC filing, which we all know they're directly related to China. And so I think at this point, we're just asking, where are we going? And we had the Van Zandt moratorium that we presented to the court, and which was passed in February and has not been challenged yet. And it's because of the way Cliff Williams, who they were fortunate enough to have as an attorney to sit on as one of their commissioners. He spent a great deal of time researching on how to word this moratorium so they would not be challenged. We gave that information to the court. We asked the court to contact Cliff Williams, and we've been in touch with him endlessly. No one from this court ever called him. But it was decided that their moratorium did not fit Hill County, which we still do not know why, because apparently there was a misunderstanding that moratorium still could affect the operation of data centers. But because no one called and no one inquired with him, he was not able to explain that to anyone. So then we have a moratorium that's rewritten. We see where that got us. So now it's been rescinded. Now we have this proclamation and this checklist, which, as this fine lady right here has pointed out, how is it enforceable, number one? And so then, ironically enough, at the last commissioner's court meeting, we had the honor of having Mr. Chris Koch with Scope Technology and Manufacturing speak to this court. I spoke to this man yesterday for an hour. His wealth of knowledge is astounding, people. He is in the industry. He knows federal guidelines. And then he tells me that he gave you an MOI and you ignored it. And I don't know if that's factual or not, but that was his opinion. And he said I could express that if I wanted to. So I think what Hill County is asking right now is, when are we going to buckle down and really make it look like we're trying to do something instead of putting Band-Aids on a gunshot wound? And why are we not having this man come forward and help us? He says that he offered to do it at no cost because he lives in Hill County. And you know why he told me why he was doing this? He said because it was for the love of humanity. And that the bottom line is, he agreed with us. Data centers have their place. We need data centers. but we do not need them in farmland. We do not need them in ranch land. And that man has the guidelines that can help us, if at least if they're coming, at least protect us. Guys, we're still not protected. Who's checking on these best units? And by the way, who's Hill County Development Services? Who are these people? Nobody knows. Has anybody driven out there to Jimmy Lehman's land to see if that best unit is actually going up or not? Because Dion Zhang, if you recall correctly, he told me it wasn't. But you also made out like you didn't know who I was talking about, but yet we have emails where you conversing with him. So we know that you are. So have we sent him an email to ask him, are you still building this? Or are you just trying to deceive people? I believe it's probably still going up. And so what Save Hill County and the Texas Coalition of Data Centers wants this court to understand is that we need to band together, we need to come together, and we need to do something that does make a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, I have one signed up online, Mr. Basil Zangari. If you're there, if you could unmute your microphone.
Yes, sir. I am here.
All right.
I'm gonna, again, I have to turn down my speakers so that way there's no feedback. So
All right.
whenever you're ready, I will start. Okay. Excuse me. Good morning, Judge Brassel, commissioners, and the citizens of Hill County. My name is Basil BZ Watchdog Zangari, and today I'm here to officially announce that I'm running for Hill County Commissioner Precinct 3. I'm running because I believe the people of Precinct 3 deserve a commissioner who will listen, who will show up, who will ask the hard questions, and who will put the citizens first. Not special interests, not developers, not political insiders, and not the good old boy system. Hill County is at a crossroads. The decisions being made right now will affect our farmers, our ranchers, our taxpayers, our water, our roads, our emergency services, and our rural way of life for generations. This is not the time for backroom deals. This is not the time for vague agendas, hidden communications, or decisions being made before the public ever gets a chance to speak. The people deserve transparency. They deserve accountability. They deserve integrity. As a constitutionalist, I believe government must follow the law. I believe the law must be applied equally and fairly. I believe public officials work for the people and are not above the people. And when the people ask questions, they deserve answers, not redactions, delays, high cost estimates, or political games. One of the biggest issues facing Hill County right now is the push to bring massive data centers into rural areas. I'm against these data centers being forced into our communities, especially when they threaten farmland, agriculture, wildlife, water resources, infrastructure, and the peace and safety of rural citizens. Farmers and ranchers built this county. Families built this county. Hardworking taxpayers built this county. We should not sacrifice our land and our way of life for projects that benefit a small group of people while leaving the citizens to deal with the long-term consequences. I believe there are lawful and legal ways to fight these projects. We can strengthen county policies. We can demand real impact studies. We can protect water resources. We can push for fire and safety standards. We can require transparency in negotiations. We can stop using closed-door politics to push industrial projects into rural communities without full public understanding and consent. Hill County needs commissioners who are willing to stand up and say, no more backdoor deals, no more political favors, no more selling out farmers, ranchers, and citizens while pretending it is economic development. I'm running to help break up the good old boy club here in Hill County. I'm running to bring sunlight into county government. I'm running to make sure citizens have a voice before decisions are made, not after the deal is already done. I know I may not be the establishment candidate. I know I ask tough questions. I know I've called out things that many people would rather keep quiet, but that is exactly why I'm running, because the people need someone who is not afraid to speak up, not afraid to challenge the system, and not afraid to stand alone when it's the right thing to do. To the citizens of Precinct 3, I'm asking for your support. I'm asking you to follow this campaign, get involved, ask questions, and help bring accountability back to Hill County. This campaign is more, it's about more than one seat. It is about whether Hill County will be run by the people, for the people, and to the people, or whether these decisions will continue to be made behind closed doors with the same political insiders. I'm ready to work, I'm ready to serve, and I'm ready to fight lawfully, legally, and publicly for the citizens, the farmers, the ranchers, and the future of Hill County. My name is Basil BZ Watchdog Zangari, and I'm running for Hill County Commissioner Precinct 3. Transparency, accountability, integrity, anti-corruption, and as I've said it many times before, sunlight is the best disinfectant. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. All right. All right, we've going to. That leads us into our consent agenda. This is action on minutes, invoices, payroll, monthly reports for revenue and disbursement, and observe and or record any elected officials paying.
Make motion approved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Minutes. While those go around, I do want to, Ms. Shonda Barnes request that we jump to number 27, discussing our action on the interlocal agreement between the city of Bynum and precinct 3. She's got some work to do upstairs, and I don't want to delay her from being productive. Ms. Barnes, would you? So sorry.
You know,
Push off.
What does it say?
Crystal push ups.
I completely messed that up. Mr. Drusky.
Which one is?
I read that. I read somebody else's name. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. Go ahead.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I'm speaking on the behalf of the City Council of Bynum. I am the mayor and I'm asking for just reapproval of our interlocal agreement with Precinct 3 to assist us in a county road that starts with a county road, comes into the city and ends kind of outside the city, but it's not a county road where it ends. But we've always had this agreement to be able to help us pave that road, just because we don't have the equipment or the manpower to do so. And we thank you, Scotty, for working with us to get that done. He did it in April and we're asking for at least twice a month to have happen, so.
Any questions?
That interlocal agreement is that we maintain that part of the road and they provide us water at our old facility, which is, we don't use as much as we used to, but we do use it from time to time, so.
And Mr. Holmes has looked over this agreement.
Make a motion.
Just so you know, Crystal, the work order is not part of what's being approved today. They bring that back.
Okay. That works.
When you work here, you then.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, so then we'll get right back in order. Number 1 is discussing our action on employee wage status changes. We have new hire. Finley Otten, deputy district clerk trainee, a wage status change of Christopher Clark, public safety communications and specialist, Kyle Cox, deputy constable, and Mason Griffin, deputy 1.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number two, observe and record the Hill County CPS Board Treasurer's Report for April 2026.
Make a motion.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And opposed? Motion carries. Number three, observe and record Hill County CPS Treasurer's Report for May 2026.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number four, observe and record FY 2025 annual audit for Hill County Emergency Service District Number 2. This audit was provided to us by ESC 2. Duncan, would you like to speak to it or on it, or are you good with it?
I'm good with it, yours.
All right.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, so a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We can touch that. Number five, observe and record the appointment of Miss Amy Peavy as the Hill County Auditor. You guys better appoint her quickly.
Make a motion.
Second.
It's crazy enough to do the job. It's tough job.
It is.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Number six, observe and record the appointment of Ms. Swilling as the Assistant Auditor.
Make a motion approved.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Number seven, observe and record monthly report from fee offices for March 2026. I'll entertain motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number eight, observe and record the FY 2025 Texas Association of Counties Risk Management Pool Workers' Compensation Award for no lost time incident.
Make a motion to observe and record. Second.
Motion and a second to observe and record the zero lost time award 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Yes, ma'am.
I'm just to say, every single employee in town, I like to probably but all of this, we can have reach out to those folks, first all those accidents. And that would help with something that is, not easy to come by in here. And so I just want to thank you if ever stay on.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do.
Good. Oh, yeah. Number nine, discuss interaction on monthly bank balances for May 2026.
Make the motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, discuss interaction regarding reimbursement for lodging expenses incurred for Veteran Service Officer Brad Orban during official county travel.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Well, there's no number on it. That's correct. Do we have a number to discuss?
This receipt should be attached, or his itemization should be attached, not a receipt.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. I'm looking.
This is just a little bit, but it's important for us to be aware that our policy really doesn't indicate that we can pay this and we can't pay this. It is kind of like gray area. Just so everyone is very transparent on this.
Yes, it was attached in our packet. I just don't have it with my order. My apologies. So I believe I had a motion. The motion still stand?
Yes. Motion
Okay.
stands.
And a second?
Second.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh, so motion second, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Yeah. All right, number 11, discuss interaction on donation received from 3W Solar in the amount of $50,000 to assist with the improvements and maintenance for Hill County Road 1330 in precinct number 2. Crumpton?
Nearly 2 years ago, before they started, we negotiated a road uses agreement. And 1330 was a heavy traffic road for delivery of their supplies and goods. And then they said they were good to donate me the funds to help repair that road. So, there was a road uses agreement. They had the money in escrow, as I understand. And I'm willing to accept it from them.
And
Make
this-
a motion approved.
This is in addition to Larry and I share a road 1327. It's kind of split down the middle. And they upgraded that and did drainage, did engineering studies. Even though I voted against that project, they did a good job doing that. But it was not only that road, but this road.
I have a motion. Second. And a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 12, discuss an action to amend Title Web subscription due to rate increase from $34.99 to $39.97 per vehicle for Hill County Sheriff's Office and Emergency Management. Mr. Jackson?
Judge, not only if possible, would like to amend that action to a decrease. After consideration and speaking with the sheriff, we want to switch our 2 vehicles to the lower plan. If it's possible to do it in this agenda, I'll have them in order. Otherwise, I'd ask you to table it to the next board meeting.
Let's take a look at what I said. Okay, so that would take it. Discuss and approve Title Web purchase decrease for Hill County Emergency Office of Emergency Management from $34.99 to $19.97 per vehicle. We should be able to do that.
Yes, sir.
Amend in the order. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, discuss interaction on amended Title Wave subscription due to the rate increase from $34.99 to $39.97 per vehicle for Hill County Commissioners precinct number 4. I'll wait for the approval. The motion.
Second.
I got a question that needs to be asked. Okay. Since we're all here and it's in relation to this. Has anybody approached Tidal Wave and asked them if we can just do one contract?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can you step forward, because there's nobody can hear you, I'm sorry.
Are all of them going to be moved to that lower price?
No,
No.
they're all different. Well, they're not all different.
Why not?
There's some different and some
Why
not.
not?
Different.
We have, over the past couple of years, we've approached this subject. They've offered us a 1-year contract, for multiple different variety of packages. As you're seeing, like Mr. Jackson would like to go with a $19 plan. Tina wants to go with a $19 plan. Martin wants to go with $39 plan. You all have to be on the same package to make this work, and you cannot overlap budget years because our auditor will not allow that because it has to remain in your budget year. So we would have to start October 1 and go to September 30th, from my understanding, and get every department on this page.
Oh. So this is a monthly deal we're doing right now.
Correct.
So in October, we can revisit this.
I would say September, we could start doing negotiations to adopt for October 1.
Okay. And then the commissioners court needs to just make a decision on what package everyone gets, and that's that.
Correct. And
In my
then,
opinion,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. I could be completely,
I question why we're even,
well,
why we even do this. I mean, we got power washers and
No.
Yeah, and I think there were some discussions out in the hallway about that with some citizens as well as like, why can't the sheriff's office do this? I haven't spoken with the sheriff.
I've spoken with the sheriff, it's a multifaceted issue, really. One, the jail population is the lowest it's ever been, and all the offenders in there are not allowed outside. Not all of them, most of them.
Most of them.
Either that or we've got mental health issues where they're not allowed outside. Also, he paying the jailer and the risks associated with having them outside is less, in his opinion, than it is to have washing. The squad cars at the sheriff's office, is this correct, Lieutenant Jackson? They are not.
I think.
They are washed by inmates.
No, I think that a lot of the
Or they
employees
just pay
pay for it on their
oh,
own,
they
out of
pay
their
for it
own
on-
pocket, to be honest, is kind of what I've been hearing.
And a lot of times they can't take fully, they've got squad cars through a place like Title Wash, or else it rips off all their antennas and then they get in real big trouble. Ask me how I know.
Have you done that?
No, I've heard. So I, that was the response I got from the sheriff was, you know, and we're not talking about the sheriff's office vehicles. We're talking about, you know, Miss Lincoln's department, precinct 4, IT. These departments don't have power washers, as you said. I mean,
The only thing I can think of is if, you know, your departments have power washers, if y'all are willing to use those on other company vehicles, which, you know, that's wear and tear on your equipment out of your budget. So I think that's why everyone went with the tidal wave option, is because of that. And then obviously we were mid-year when we started these, last year, I do believe, which we couldn't overlap the budget years, which is why we had to do the month to month.
Overlap the budget is not it, son. We have all kinds of subscriptions.
Sure. What was the hesitation then for the contract for the year?
Never been approached by it.
I'll have to go back and look in my email. There was some discussion about it that it was not recommended. And then,
They have one in the looking for it.
right, either you do or you don't.
yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to address this too, especially, whenever we have, our citizens that are concerned about finances. We opted to obviously go to the lowest package and, we have community service for our youth, but that's very limited. That's generally only during summer hours and over like maybe Christmas break or spring break. And so we just really opted to go with that lower package. I do want to highlight too that with Tidal Wave, one of the things that's an advantage as well is that you can take your vehicle as many times during that month and it's that same set rate. So our units are on the road constantly. We transport juveniles across the state of Texas, as does the sheriff's department. And so that's the reason we went with that. I too reached out to Sheriff Barnes because I wanted to do my due diligence prior to coming into court and asked him if that was going to be something that he would possibly be able to take on. And he said that he could not, from a financial perspective, this was a better approach, as you mentioned before. So just want to share that we're always thinking about the best way to use our dollars within our county budgets. And just to share too, an open forum is, you know, my local budget is 27% on my state budget. The funds that I get are actually 73% from the state of Texas. So always trying to be really mindful about that. Our department of classical grants on a really regular basis, as you all know. We have 3 discretionary programs that are not funded, but very minimally. We get a very small amount for our prevention and intervention program. It's not a mandatory program. We get no dollars for our drug court program that has been running for now since, I believe, 2005. And we get a small amount for our JJP program. So I just wanted to share that, just so that everybody would really know. And from a funding perspective, we always take into those considerations. And we really get support of our citizens and asking those questions, and I'm always happy to be transparent about that.
Thank you.
Now I'll go back through my email and figure out the why as to the year. I know Mr. Cordell, Constable Precinct 4, is the one who started this entire project. There were some emails back and forth, so I do have it. Let me just find it and give me just a couple seconds.
It's table on those to you. Prison. And table on those. Yes, with the approval.
Isn't there a mid-range price?
There are 4 different pricing tiers from 19 to 39. or 49, 1949. Let me get in my phone, so it's turned off.
The level I did was the very lowest package, I believe the one I arrived at, it was the 29.97.
Let's see. Let's, I mean, the motion before the quarter to accept these, I think, that we, as budget season is approaching, probably develop a policy on car washing. And if the county's gonna contract with Tidal Wave, you have one contract, everybody on the same page. The court can approve these on month to month until we do that, if you'd like. Or you can not approve these and, I don't, you'll have to watch them.
So is a group, they're all supposed to be the same price?
No,
No.
each office or department has picked their own package.
Yeah.
So right now, we're on precinct 4, I have a motion. Did I have a second? Yes. In a second. Yes, Mr. Parkin.
Before when all this started, was due to the change of elected officials mid-year. That a new official coming in, so Scotty was resigning and someone else was coming in and he's adopted a yearly contract. The new elected official may not want that contract and then you're stuck in that.
Well.
And that's what that was back in 2024.
We're gonna have to do it like.
No, I mean, it was their vision back in
Yeah.
2024
I
for
got you.
not going that
I
route.
guess,
So,
makes sense. I don't think it's avoidable though, if we move forward. Okay, so
Motion, so
I got a motion in a second, for precinct 4 tidal wave price increase. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Discuss interaction on to amend tidal wave subscription due to rate increase from 34 to 39 per vehicle for Hill County Information Technology Department. I have a motion, Mr. Holcomb, second from Mr. Hawkins, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Discuss interaction, discuss and or approve tidal wave pricing increase for Constable Precinct number 1 from 34 to 39.97.
Make motion approved.
second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Discuss and or approve tidal wave price increase for Hill County Constable Precinct number 2, 34.99, 39.97. Make motion.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Discuss and or approve tidal wave price increase for Constable Precinct 3, 34.99, 39.97.
Make motion approved.
Second.
In a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carries. Discuss and approve tidal wave price increase from 34.99 to 39.97 per vehicle. For precinct 4.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carries. Discuss and or approve tidal wave price increase for Hill County District Attorney's Office investigator vehicle for 34.99, 39.97. Motion and second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Discuss and or approve tidal wave plan change 39.97 and 19.97 per vehicle, quantity of 4 vehicles, Department of Safety, Hill County Juvenile Probations. Motion. Motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Discuss and or approve tidal wave plan change 29.97 to 27.97 Hill County Development Services. Motion. And a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carries. Discuss interaction on the Shared Immigration Law Enforcement Grant Program, SB 8 resolution for Hill County Sheriff's Office. This was the resolution provided you in the packet. Mr. Holmes, have you taken a look at this one? I believe, listen, let's put that to. Sweet. Chief Westmoreland, are you online, sir?
Yes, sir, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We are talking about the SB8 grant program resolution.
Yes, so Senate Bill 8 was recently, sorry about that. Senate Bill 8 was recently approved, I guess, by the state of Texas for law enforcement agencies that are operating under a memorandum of agreement with ICE, which is U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The Senate Bill 8 would provide an up to $80,000 grant to law enforcement entities that are involved in an MOA with ICE itself. We are currently 287G compliant with the state and with ICE, which would qualify us to apply for this grant. This $80,000 grant is basically available to counties, in our case, basically for jails. This would allow us to basically make improvements in various areas in the jail. It's vague the way that the expenditure allowance is written in the grant, so it makes it a little more broad, I guess, for use. But as long as it's used for the jail and housing of inmates, safety, security, things of that nature, it would be approved for use. Each grant, obviously, I'm sure you're aware, each grant requires a resolution anytime you're submitting a grant to the state of Texas. So that was the reason of submitting this resolution that's here. The wording on the resolution that's there in front of you is fairly standard verbiage. The only one that was really added was paragraph 2 that Senate Bill 8 required that verbiage to be applied to each resolution from each county. That's not just specific to us, that's statewide. In reference to Texas Government Code 753.105, it basically doesn't allow the county to supplant funds. It states that specifically in the government code. So the other several paragraphs that are in the resolution are basically standard language for most resolutions that I've seen in my experience anyway. So it's a very standard resolution with the required verbiage applied as per the government code.
Make motion approved. A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, number 23, discuss interaction regarding trading in old handguns for new updated handguns for the Hood County Sheriff's Office. In the brief,
Well, these are SB 22 funds.
these are SB 22 funds. Interestingly enough, we can't tell the sheriff what he can or can't spend that money on anyway. So this is more of just him letting us know what's going on with it.
My understanding that they had open positions for CID that remain unfilled. So they're using those funds so we don't have to come to the state to make this.
That's right. Make a motion to approve.
Second. A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. Okay. Discuss interaction on purchasing 4 Ford F-150 trucks in the amount of $2,214,412 for the Hill County Sheriff's Office. This is the same money that's being used, SB 22 funds being used to purchase these vehicles, so there is no impact to the budget.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. A motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discuss interaction regarding updating the Texas Smart Buy Agent of Record name change form to add Hill County Auditor Finley Peter. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion on the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Discuss interaction on the discontinuation of waste services with Republic for the Huron Islands.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion on second, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We did number 27 already. We didn't say anything. All right, number 28, public hearing on the installation of a traffic control device in the form of 35-mile-per-hour speed limit signs on Hill County Road 3369 in precinct number 3. Anybody here to speak on the public hearing on the installation of a traffic control device in the form of 35-mile-per-hour speed limit sign on County Road 3369 and precinct number 3?
I'll just tell you, I've had to request to install 35-mile-an-hour speed limit going to duration of 3369, which it's needed a long time, so. Good.
All right, well then we'll go ahead and move to number 29 and close that public hearing. Move to number 30, discuss and or action on installation of the traffic control device in the form of 35-mile-per-hour speed limit sign on Hill County Road 3369 and precinct number 3.
I make motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Number 31, pursuant to section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, the Hill County Commissioners Court will meet and close executive session to consult with their attorney on current litigation regarding the RCN Hill LLC plaintiff versus Hill County, Shane Brasso, Jim Holcomb, Larry Crampton, United States District Court, Western District of Texas, Waco Division, Civil Action number 6, CV 00340. Give it a few minutes for the courtroom to clear out. And so you can stop that. And then always start. Yes.